So hi everyone, I'm Alex. I also go by Aventurine. I'm part of the Council of Elders. I've been a part of Numerai since probably mid to late 2020. I before don't have a background in data science at all, and actually I wasn't looking. Who does not have a data science background here? Okay, good. Okay, I feel good. Yeah, I was in school. I previously was in the U.S. military out of high school, and then I moved into the medical field as a field engineer for a medical laboratory company, and I was working on clinical chemistry instruments as an engineer for one of the largest medical lab companies in the world, and then started getting into stock trading and crypto trading on my free time at work, and I needed to decide what I wanted to do for a living past that, and I wanted to get my degree because I didn't have a chance to do that while I was in the military. So I ended up finishing my degree in finance. I had to do it part-time because I had already been married for a while and had 2 kids and was working full-time, so I was going to school online for finance. I got a scholarship to take the CFA exam, and I don't know if they have like a similar type of like chartered financial analyst exam in Europe, but right when that was happening, COVID hit. So I did not have a chance to take that test, did not have a chance to work for any big banks, but a couple of months into COVID, was introduced to Numerai, and I had to learn machine learning on my own. So it took about 6 months of just being a part of the community and hanging out with people and being in, previously it was Rocket Chat, now we have a Discord, and started submitting models. And here we are today, a couple years later. So mine is going to be very simple. It's essentially just a copy pasta of the Numerai documentation. And this will just give you like a really broad overview of Numerai. I know Jill already mentioned what Numerai itself is. I guess the only part to add to that is at the end there that NMR is the token of Numerai. That's what is used as the incentive token for the tournament. I'll talk a little bit more about that later, but essentially you can't do any kind of incentive model with USD since it can't be burned. And in the case of Numerai, you can earn, but you can also burn NMR tokens on chain according to your predictions. So it all starts with the data. Numerai has a free data set that is clean and regularized financial data. As you can see from this graphic here with the ID numbers, that the data is obfuscated. Because they're a hedge fund and they purchase this data and they spend a lot of money on it every year, they can't just tell you exactly what it is and put it out there, so they obfuscate it for us. And it's given out for free for anyone in the world to download and create a machine learning model on that data. And because it's obfuscated, of course, that data can't be really used for anything else outside of the tournament. Each row in the data set corresponds to a specific stock at a specific point in time. The point in time is noted by the era, and I made a little note here for you because the era is the only grouping in time series information the data exposes. So for those that have done machine learning in the past, you got that there, and each era represents 1 week. And those IDs that are obfuscated are unique in each era, so that you can't match those stocks across the eras. And then, of course, you have a lot of features. There are qualitative attributes known about the stock, so anything from PE ratio and any other type of data that you can think of is there. And then the target is a measure of the stock returns after 20 days. There's been a lot of versions over the years. At this point, we still, what version? Oh, 5, right?
5.
Yeah, so we're already on version 5. So they do have like major and minor version changes. A lot of times if they're in the same series of data, you don't really need to retrain your data. But if they do a big major version change, they usually suggest that that's when you retrain your entire model and go from there. And we got the format on here. It used to not be that. The data set is just so large now that it's actually like broken. You can actually break it up into sections as well. And then as far as modeling, they do have like some example models that you can look at. Do the documentation, and I mean your goal is really just to predict the target given the features, but they do have an example of like a light GBM model directly in their documentation, but as data scientists, you guys can do whatever you want to make those predictions. Submissions are every single day, and I'll show you a little bit about how you submit, because there's actually a couple of different ways that you can submit that data, but each day new live data is released. You can set up your model with automation so that each day that new data is trained and new live predictions are put out, and then it's automatically submitted to Numerai, which is really nice. And you know, behind the scenes, what's going on is Numerai is taking all of these submissions, and based on how much NMR you're staking in the tournament, that's what they base this stake-weighted meta model. You do not need to be a crypto person, or you do not need to actually stake NMR in this tournament to be graded. But if you want to be rewarded and you want to be part of that meta model, you do have to stake. But you can be scored and see diagnostics and do everything else within the tournament without touching NMR. And usually it's pretty highly suggested that if you are new to this anyway and you're building a new model, that you actually submit unstaked for a little while just to check out your performance. So this is the most automated way that you can submit to Cloud Pickle. They do have a GitHub that you can go to pull out like all the different information of the different versions of the libraries you need, and some examples of like how you create that Cloud Pickle. And what you do is for every model that you have, because you can also have multiple models as well on your account, helps you to submit those. As far as the scoring, you're scored on two metrics, one being correlation, and then the second being the meta model contribution. Since that target that you are trying to predict is a measure of 20 business days, it does take about a month for each session to be fully scored. But you know, since you're submitting daily, and then that's over 1 month period, after that time, you'll start getting payouts daily. There's a lot going on here, but as far as the correlation, I'll show you. This is really just showing how that correlation score is calculated. I'm not going to go through the whole thing there because it would take a little bit too much time. But the key takeaway is that your predictions, like distribution, does not matter. That you're really only evaluated on your predictions ranks, and your score depends more on the tails than the typical rank correlation. So there's that. The meta model contributions, I know we talked for a second about true contribution, which was the scoring method for a while. It was MMC, then true contribution, and then they fell back into MMC again after that. Didn't end up working out for them too well, I don't think. But meta model contribution is the covariance of a model with the target after its predictions have been neutralized to the meta model. There are a couple of other scoring metrics that are included that they're not used for payouts, but it helps you as a data scientist to make adjustments as needed. And there's a lot more information on all this stuff within the Numerai docs. This is just really a general overview. And lastly here you got your diagnostics, and when you're uploading your predictions on Numerai, if you're doing the model upload, the Numerai is like automatically going to run your model over the validation data set, but you can also, of course, do this yourself. And you can use this however you see fit. I put staking on here. This is kind of like an inside joke from back in the day, but this is where the magic of Numerai is. When you're ready and confident in your model's performance, and you do want to be incentivized, you use NMR, which is Numerai's cryptocurrency, to stake on your model. And it really goes on this skin in the game type of model. So if you stake a little bit, Numerai treats that as you have just a little bit of confidence in your model. But if you're staking a lot, then they know that you have a lot more confidence in your model. So the more you stake, the more weight Numerai puts on those predictions. And then because of that, those payouts and the burns are based on the stake. And I'll actually ask if anyone has any questions about that, or if it makes sense.
Is this relative to my wallet size or relative to the market? Because if I have only, say, 10 Numerai, I can stake a lot. Even though I have a lot of, say, trust in them.
Yeah, it's all individual. Like the more you stake, the more affect like those. I go back like those scoring metrics, correlation and MMC. That goes into that payout. So the more that you're personally staking into the tournament, it just essentially adds to the meta model pool. If that makes sense.
He was asking if he has a small amount of the token, but he stakes
Yeah.
all of it, is activated more. But you can set up multiple wallets, so
Yeah.
that's an absolute,
Okay. Yeah.
it's an absolute number.
Yeah, you can set up multiple wallets, and I mean, it's all going to be relative to how much you're staking. So
It doesn't matter how much you have in your wallet.
yeah, it doesn't.
How much you stake. You don't have
I think there is a minimum. I think, but I think it's like 1 NMR, which is like less than 20.
You can say 0.01 NMR to start with.
Is it 0.1
But
or 1?
if you want, you have to pay out every day. That payout has to be equal or greater than 1 NMR when it's paid out.
Yeah.
So it's only affect the payouts, not about.
Yeah, I mean, there's some people that just want to see what their performance would be over time as well. So even though you don't have to stake anything, some people stake like the minimum amount because they do want to see like what types of yields they would generate over time. I mean, there's people top on the leaderboards that are getting double and triple digit yields yearly. So by staking that minimum amount, you can see like what type of yields you'd be generating based on I guess you can call it like emissions of NMR based on your scores. So to stake, you essentially just have to purchase NMR, and it's available pretty much on every major exchange, and you can also pick it up through DEX as well, like Uniswap. This is like the staking page, so each account you'll have like your own staking page. You'll be able to see all your models, and like I said, you can have multiple models. A lot of people, what they do is they'll either have multiple models and then upload those predictions on each one of those models, and then some people like to ensemble and do other interesting things with their models. So this is that staking page, and this is where you can stake. I see 0.1. Is it 0.1? Yeah, okay. So that's the stake amount. And I think 1 NMR currently is somewhere around 17 or 18 USD. So I mean, it's a very, very small amount. Because I know there's a lot of like BitTensor people in here that have like subnets and things like that. I'll let them chat more on that, but from my experience with them, their model is each subnet has a calculation for like a registration cost that you have to put in to participate within that subnet. In this case, we're only looking for one thing, and we're only submitting predictions to solve one problem. So there's not different, unlike BitTensor where there's separate subnets, this is just going to Numerai. And so the cost to participate is pretty minimal. And then you have a leaderboard, and you can go into each one of these models and check the performance. How are we looking on time? Am I good? And that's essentially it for like the main tournament. Like I said, you can go into the Numerai documentation. There's a lot more that goes into modeling and data. If you go into the GitHub, you can actually do like an exploratory type of look at the data, because the data set is very, very large. But Numerai does have other tournaments. What they call what we just went through is like their classic tournament. This is like what they started with. This is mostly geared towards data scientists, but they do have a couple of other tournaments that they've launched over the years. One of them being Numerai Signals, where unlike the Numerai tournament where you download their data sets that are obfuscated, in the Signals tournament, you bring your own data. So if you're a quant or you have access to like high quality financial data, you can actually create your own signal and submit those through Numerai, and that's paid out as like a separate tournament. Also last year, Numerai introduced Numerai Crypto, which is similar to Numerai Signals, but instead of submitting signals for financial stocks, you're submitting signals for crypto. And in that tournament, you also bring your own data. You're essentially creating crypto signals and sending those into Numerai, and you're paid out on that. And it's Yodel, right? That we. I'll let Yodel talk more.
So I'm using this guy's data
Yes.
for the crypto tournament. So can I ask a few questions?
Yeah, go.
So how many people are sticking in the classic Numerai tournament? Classic? Nice. Signals? Oh, say many. Okay. And crypto? Numerai crypto. Excellent. So thank you for Derek for his data.
Yes, you can get free data.
You can buy him a drink if you want.
You can get free data from that guy. He makes you money. And that's it. This is me online, but I also don't care if people take pictures of me. So I actually don't work in, like I said, I don't work in data science currently. I'm essentially a contractor that works for Web3 and like NFT companies. So I work for digital art companies. I do stuff in marketing. I collect digital art. I know it sounds crazy to buy and spend thousands of dollars on pictures on the internet, but that's what I do. And is there any other questions from me? Just general Numerai questions at all? Yeah. Oh, we got lots. Okay. What time we got? Nice.
Just a quick question. Can you also stake other people's models? So if I see somebody performing really well, can I express my confidence?
It's a yes and no. There's not like an official way to do it. So if you like say either that, or also you might not be a data scientist but want to have some sort of exposure to Numerai. We'll talk a little bit.
I'm going to ask this question.
Yeah. Because we'll talk about it more later, but I guess as far as the Council of Elders goes, as Joe said, we are like a community ran organization, and we do have funding that was given to us through Numerai to do community events. So besides these meetups, one of the other things that we had built entirely through the community, because typically doing something like this could land, depending on your location in the world, in some gray areas, I should say. I don't know, I'm trying to be careful about what I say. So we just built a whole platform for being able to do that. So Numerai, if you go to there, that's totally built by the COE, or I should say funded by the COE. And here you can list your own models, you can sell your predictions, and totally decentralized. You can connect your MetaMask wallet in there and purchase other people's predictions, either to submit them directly yourself or to also like ensemble your own data as well.
And the shed 33 is actually, I think, #1. So if you like the #1 performance of the model, you can buy it and stake it.
Yeah.
I believe you can even submit directly via Numerai, so you don't need to do anything. You just buy it.
Yeah, you just have to have your.
Submit yourself.
Yeah, you just have to have your own Numerai link into, and then, yeah, you can just go right in and do that. And, can you go back to the homepage again? Because there's actually been quite a bit of volume, I mean, I shouldn't say a lot of volume, but, how old is Numerai at this point, like 2 or 3 years old? But you can see that, you know, we're coming up on like 10,000 NMR of like sales volume on the website, which, I mean, it's not huge, but it's something.
But consider the small size of Numerai community, this is actually a good number, so quite active.
Yeah. Okay, I think we had 2 more, yeah.
So,
Oh, yeah,
second
we got
question, sir.
Thanks so much. My name is Alexander Sotov. I'm CCCP on crypto contest. My question is, how is it possible that sometimes I'm getting sub-zero MMC for a positive correlation?
Sub-zero.
Yeah, minus
positive correlation.
MMC for a positive
So-
correlation. Mildly positive
Yeah.
correlation.
You-
And this I have observed starting about a month ago.
Okay.
Thank you.
You want me to?
Yeah, you can read it if you want.
I guess it's relative to the other people's performance.
Yeah.
So correlation is relevant to other people, so just based on the market result. But MMC is based on the actual meta model of that round. And then you kind of neutralize it with the meta model, and all you left in your residues is how we calculate the MMC. So for example, if everyone is doing really well here, on one single date, but you're doing just okay, not too good, then you will get a negative MMC. It's comparative to other people's performance on each single round.
And just to confirm, so MMC is really a function of how much is staked plus performance or something.
No. Yeah,
It's a meta model. It's about the meta model.
It's just.
But the meta model is also kind of made up of the stake weight. So it kind of have a factor of the stake in it. So if the people with like huge stake and they're doing really well on that round compared to yours model on that round, then you may get a negative
Didn't they
MMC.
used to have a graphic, right? Of
Don't go too much time for stuff. Just
Yeah.
this is. But I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, I mean, there's a little bit more
Thank you.
info in the docs on like how it's calculated as well. So if you go into the Numerai docs under scoring, like they have a whole complete section here that shows you like how they calculate the score as well.
In kind of plain English, because I'm not a data science guy, that's like saying one is how close you were to selecting all the outcomes, and the other is how much you improved the model.
Yeah, I guess you can. I guess in my terms, because like I'm not a data science either, is I kind of think of it as like a score of uniqueness. So I mean, like if a bunch of people all sort of use, like if you had a group of people all submitting with the same library, the same settings to get those predictions, like you're gonna end up like bucketing yourself in with a lot of people. But if you place in a model that's different than everyone else, but it scores well, then you're gonna have a higher MMC. But if you're in outside of the pack, but your scores are not good, then you're gonna have a negative
It's
score.
how much you improve the model. You incrementally
Yeah,
improve the model.
uniquely improve the model, because like a lot of people can make good predictions, but you can also be not a part of that pack and make better predictions, if that makes sense, right? That make sense? Kind of? Yeah.
So good predictions for different kind of assets, and this prediction.
I mean, that's kind of like the way I think about it. It's sort of like a measure of being unique to like the overall meta model itself, but scoring well at the same time. Yeah.
Yeah, just when you were talking about like how you score, you were saying correlation is a factor, and
Yeah.
I'm just wondering if that's just positive, or you actually value negative correlation. Because in sports betting, when somebody is consistently wrong, you love them because you're a counterparty to them. And there's so I'm just wondering if you would like
We don't-
absolute value.
I don't think Numerai loves them. No,
Should.
right? Numerai just doesn't love them. Like I guess that's like the not nice way to say it is like.
They inform you, right?
Yeah, they just want you to perform. Like they want you to perform well, and they want you to score positively. So like you don't get incentivized to do anything negative. In fact, you get punished. In Numerai, you get punished for that. So if you're staking and you have negative correlation, they're literally just gonna burn your money, because
It's
they
signal,
don't like
though,
it.
right? It's great signal if it's really negative.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I guess.
But then you
They
get
only
that-
care about the
that
positive
minus
signal.
one.
They don't, they can care, I don't think they can care less about the negative signal.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe just submit the opposite.
Yeah, you can always, you just flip all your predictions around and just submit the opposite also.
Yeah, because the prediction is from 0 to 1. So if you have a really, really bad model, just like consistently bad,
You love
then
it.
you find go. You just flip it around and then you got it.
What minus P?
Yeah, 1 minus P.
1 minus P.
Yeah, just flip
1 minus
everything,
percentage.
flip everything around. But yeah, Numerai, like they literally only care about you having the best scores and the best predictions, and that's really all they care about. Anyone else?
One more question before we move on to the next one? Anyone? Not? So,
Cool.
Thank you, Alex.